Alright, well, hello there. This is Zeke, and I know I haven't made as many videos lately, but I wanted to do, like, my own tier list thing, especially after watching all the finals, like the March finals and such, all the official streamed Pokemon tournament stuff. And so I didn't watch, like, all the footage out there. I watched, like, all of EU and NA, of course, so a little bit of bias there because I'm from the NA region. But then, like, I checked out some of the other ones, like the Mexico and the Central America and South America as well. They had their own. You know, that was in Portuguese. Like, I don't speak the other languages, by the way. I just watch them, like, and kind of like just listen to just how hyped the commentators are. Same for like the Japanese and Korean finals. So like I just kind of watch the game and be like, oh cool, like this is different. So anyway, I want to do a tier list, right? And um, shoot, where do I even start? I didn't think this through. All right, so I guess we can start with the Speedsters. This is the smallest group, right? No, do I really want? No, I'll start with the all rounders. How about that? We'll grab Lucario. Lucario definitely comes up for S, right? Because Lucario is still being played like solo top all the time, all that kind of stuff. Still really strong despite multiple nerfs. Can't really beat it too much. Um, Machamp I'm gonna put up in A as well. We saw a little bit of Machamp, I think. Um, Machamp can kind of contest Lucario a little, not as much, but like some. And but its Unite move is much better, right? Like when it gets those hits off, it can like completely obliterate life bars, or at least like half the shield you get from like 5 buddy barriers, all that kind of stuff. But Lucario's Unite just is so like not very powerful, but the rest of Lucario's kit is so strong. Um, Serena's also gonna go in A, and this is a tough one, but like Serena was in the specifically the Korean finals, right? So and not a counter pick, but literally all 7 games that I think it was Team Z Crystal, they played a Serena. They didn't even play top Serena. They actually played it in the bottom path in sort of a 2-1-2. But you know, now I don't know the differences between regions. Like if one region's much stronger than another, but like I'm giving them credit there. Serena's looked kind of solid before, but to see him, you know, be part of a team that won the March finals, I can't argue with that. So, let's see. There's a few more on here. Charizard, of course, Charizard also was in the. I might put Charizard in S actually. It's like kind of one. That's tough because Ren's Charizard was part of the winning team on the NA finals. And there's been some other Charizard played. Not too much, but like it's definitely good. I'd say definitely second of the all rounders there. Um am I missing hold on. I totally know all my all rounders. Yes. I know I'm missing like 2 of them. I should have pulled this up first. Alright. So Dragonite, you're. Put Dragonite in B. Dragonite was played in some finals too though. Like in a, I forget which one it was actually. But Dragonite's okay. Yeah, Duraludon got nerfed a bit. I'm gonna put him up in A as well. It's just it's tough because like Dragonite kind of. I'm gonna stick him in B anyway. Because Dragonite like has to be in jungle. Like lane Dragonite is just so rough, and there's just so many better junglers. I would say But it's still like Hyper Beam, still pretty decent. But maybe it was like a comfort pick. But I still seen some Charizard or some black Dragonite. Looking up at Charizard for a second. Then we've got Aegislash. I'm gonna put Aegislash all the way down here in D tier. No competitive uh usage whatsoever, and it's just like an expert difficulty for like nothing. Like I've seen some okay Aegislash, but whenever I play it, I just get destroyed. Like I've played really difficult Hearthstone decks because I am TCG player, that kind of thing. And I've played some really difficult Hearthstone decks. I'm not against playing something that's hard to play, but I cannot do Aegislash. I cannot. So maybe a little bias in that, but I've tried. I'm just like I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I get the concept of changing forms, but um, we're gonna put Garchomp over in B as well. I think Garchomp can be good. It's just again like tough to get that good jungle slot and just yeah. And of course we're gonna go into the speedsters as well, which are also gonna be competitive for that jungle slot, and you just really can't. So like same reason Absol's just going in B, right? Like I've seen some decent Absol. You can kind of play Absol in lane. I've seen that as well, but it can be strong. I just again, no competitive play. That's also a thing. I mean, even Dragonite and Garchomp get played a little. Well, Garchomp not recently, but Dragonite a little bit. Um, Gengar, I'm putting Gengar in C. I'm sorry. Like the only reason I'm not putting it in D tier is like because I have seen some of those like videos of like, hey, you can play Gengar and like get pentakills and stuff, and yes, it's possible, but a lot of players are really bad at Gengar. I really want to put it in D just for the fact that like when I get a Gengar on my team playing in on ranked, we lose like 80% of our games with a Gengar. It's so bad, and but most of it I think is just bad players like thinking they're good at Gengar and they're not, or even if they're okay at the actual character tech, like in a technical sense, they have like terrible macro. But anyway, yeah, I'm leaving you down there. Um, what else was I grabbing? Heck, now I've lost track of where I was on this. Talonflame. I'm still gonna put Talonflame up in A. Um, Talonflame got dropped pretty hard through most teams, like at least in the Western. But like, was it the? I think the Korean finals were like 2 Talonflames, and the Japanese still had the Talonflame in the score comp. The Koreans were not playing like score comps, but the Japanese were like for one of them, and they played a Talonflame. So I'm still leaving Talonflame up there. And then like I'm not skipping anyone. Oh yeah, Zeraora. You're going. I'm sorry, D tier. It takes too long to level up. No competitive play. People I've seen some of the worst Zeroaras in ranked as well. Some of them can be all right, but just bad. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, let's move to attacker Pokemon then. Greninja's still going up in A. Really strong. Also was played in A finals by a like kind of an anti Duraludon team. I think where they played a Greninja jungle and a Decidueye in lane, and so Decidueye is also going up here in A because I like it's a little crazy, but Decidueye is really growing in popularity right now. and I'm believing in it. It's actually pretty good now. Again, was played in a finals. Helped they got second with the Greninja Decidueye. So that was really good. Let's see. Duraludon just got nerfed, but I'm still putting it up in S anyway. I don't see it going away. Maybe it stops a little bit, but you know it's starting to get countered by the Decidueyes, but still really strong, I would say. Sylveon, I'm gonna put Sylveon in C. Unfortunately, I love Sylveon. Sylveon's got my third most played character. Of course, that's over time. Like I haven't played Sylveon recently, but third in overall usage on my account, so it's tough. But Sylveon has really fallen out of favor. There was one, I think, in the February finals where a Charmander and an Eevee did like a split jungle strat. I forget which region they did that, but that was pretty cool. But ever since the Ninetales buff, Ninetales really replaced that. And Alolan Ninetales, I'm gonna put that up in A. Good chunk of competitive play recently. Now they did just nerf it, but I think it wasn't that bad of a nerf. Like it's very slight. But yeah, the Aurora Veil pretty darn strong. I'm looking at Venusaur going, Venusaur really got replaced. Like in the Duraludon meta, like Venusaur was really good before they didn't even nerf it. It really like I don't know. I'm still putting it in A though. Like even though it really got dropped hard out of teams that used to run like um Venusaur or Pikachu like in the bottom lane. But with Duraludon, I don't know. Because you can get in on well, no, you really can't. Like you can get in with Petal Dance Giga Drain, but you're getting shot down first usually. It's kind of the problem. Um but oh well. It's still not a bad Pokemon though. Likewise Pikachu, I just mentioned Pikachu. I think Pikachu still goes in A. Of course a lot of Pokemon end up kind of in A, I would say. Cinderace is going up in S. Cinderace still really strong. Good, really good jungle presence. I don't know why my virtual avatar is not. Okay, there we go. I didn't go anywhere. Like what the heck? But still really powerful. Let me see. Gardevoir is going in here with the other junglers who just have to deal with better junglers like Cinderace and Greninja and all the even Talonflame, where it just not. I don't think Gardevoir saw any competitive. I know one team still likes to use it, but they were doing like I won't say which one, but they were doing scrims like the other day, and as soon as they dropped Gardevoir, they started winning more. I won't say what player or what team, but that was kind of funny. Cramorant, I'm just gonna drop you and see as well. I don't think there's much room for Cramorant. Right now. Not missing anyone, am I? Alright, let's go for defenders. How about that? See some defenders. Alright. So right now, best defender that sees competitive play is Slowbro. You see it playing that tanky slot in a lot of the competitive teams. When they just need that Surf Plus, they get to 11. They have Surf Plus, they have Slow Beam. They actually split between like Telekinesis and Amnesia, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was matchup dependent. Like for some teams, some will go with Amnesia just for the extra sustain, and some will go Telekinesis just to trap someone. Trevenant. So this is this is where I'm gonna deviate a little. I'm actually putting Trevenant up here with Slowbro. I've been playing Trevenant recently, and Trevenant got some buffs, right? It got 3 buffs really, and kind of one thing that changed that really helped it out, which was the nerf to Slow Smoke, because Slow Smoke really hurt melee Pokemon, right? And Trevenant's a melee, but so the buffs that Trevenant got, it got a boost to its movement speed, which is pretty good because I think it used to walk slowly like Slowbro did, which was really bad because Slowbro can afford to do that as a ranged Pokemon, but Trevenant being a melee cannot be slow like that. And now it's kind of got like a more average walking speed, so it can kind of, it can't really chase down without an X speed, which I don't run. I usually prefer Potion anyway, just for the extra sustain. But like you're not just like getting dusted like when you're walking around, because that was happening before. But like the amount of crowd control, the other buff, so one was to Pain Split. I don't really use Pain Split, so I don't know much about it. But then one to Wood Hammer. Wood Hammer still does recoil when you use it, but now that recoil is greatly reduced. It doesn't feel like it does much recoil anymore. So you can kind of use it as much as you want, like without having to worry about that. But it also has an increased effect on the target that it hits. And I think between the recoil reduction and the increase in effect, I think Woodhammer is really being slept on right now, and Trevenant as a whole. Because like Hornleech, if you can shove Pokemon around, I've been playing it even in ranked up in 1800 elo, and just like I can have some really good fights, or if I need to just like sacrifice myself even just to kind of push a team away so we can get a secure, I can do that, and Hornleech is good for that. Also, like the if you compare with Slowbro, like the Slowbro's Unite is really good for locking down one teammate or one opponent, but Trevenant, it at least like crowd controls. It kind of like Blastoise, where it gets a little bit of crowd control over a wide area. Difference is you can aim it a little better. So, but overall, again, like Woodhammer, like don't play Curse. If you're playing Curse, you're going down in D tier. I'm sorry, but Woodhammer and Hornleech, I think is actually A worthy. I really do. I know it's not been played in competitive, but I think it's being slept on. I think if people really try it, they could be surprised on that, because it has almost as much durability as Slowbro, and Slowbro just like it's there to wall things out, but like outside of Surf Plus, it doesn't really have a whole heck of a lot of crowd control, right? Like Surf Plus is great, but it's also got quite a long cooldown, and like if you miss or you only hit one target or something, it's eh. Anyway, I mentioned Blastoise. I'm gonna put Blastoise in B. I think it's I'll put Blastoise with the other defenders up here. It's a little tough. I think it plays about just as well as the other defenders, and it's almost a preference. Like I think Blastoise is actually being played in some of the competitive teams. Like not many, but like one or two. Amaswine, I'm gonna drop it in B. It's decent. Again, like almost as good as the other defenders, but just kind of not as much. See some play next to Ninetales, right? Where they get kind of the double freeze. The two freezes don't stack on top of each other, but it's kind of funny just that they somehow work out kind of like that. Let's put Greedent up here in S. Greedent was seen play in finals. I know it's classified as defender. Usually it's more of just like it gets in scores, it pressures goals, can secure as well. So that's pretty good. Crustal was seen play in score comps. I think that's largely gone away. I've only really only like Japan had one score comp going that really strong. But overall, I don't see Crustal being that good there. Snorlax I think is also B worthy. It's got some good blocking, The reason I put like Trevenant above Snorlax, because they're both melee defenders and such, is like block doesn't do any damage. At least like Horn Leech for Trevenant, that does damage and heals you. So like it's about the same amount of shoving something around if you get a hit up close. But at least like Trevenant, you're getting something out of it, even if no one else is around. All right, and then supporters. So I'm gonna put Wiggly up in S. I think Wigglytuff was actually the probably the most used supporter Pokemon out of all the regions. I want to say. Eldegoss really fell off hard. Well, sorry, not the most used. Sorry, most used out of like previous supporters. Of course, Hoopa is definitely so it was definitely the most used supporter. But back to Wiggly for just a second. Just like some were running rollout here and there, a couple Sing ones as well. But Wigglytuff has a lot of value, like in the late game, like in the fights where the Unite move buff just gives such sustain in the end game. So that happens. Hoopa, of course, just about everyone was playing Hoopa. There was one or two Hyperspace Hole users, I think, but there was a lot more Trick. Trick Shadow Ball is just really, really good, especially when Shadow Ball has a little bit of crowd control to it. But if you hit the double Shadow Ball, that's like an instant, like full second incapacitation. It's just really strong. And then Blissey I'm gonna put in A as well. Blissey really overtook Eldegoss. Eldegoss got nerfed, right? That's kind of Eldegoss's problem, is that Eldegoss got nerfed, and it from being like one of the most used supporters to like it's barely anything now. It got hit pretty hard on the Cotton Guard and such. It just I think I only saw like one or two of them. Blissey largely took its place, and mostly that was because like of strong Pokemon like the Charizard, the Duraludon, where Bliss Assistance buffing one target like really hard is just more useful than the like mass sort of heal and enemy push from Eldegoss as well. And Mayim is kind of gonna sit and see as well. It was seen competitively before. It got a little bit of a nerf there, and then kind of just doesn't do as much anymore. I think again, like the whole Bliss, well, Hoopa really pushed it out. Is kind of it. The same with like Eldegoss, where like Hoopa showed up, and then if they're playing like double support, it's usually Hoopa. Wiggly like kind of in defense, but like it's also support. But then like even there were teams that ran Hoopa, Wiggly, Blissey, and then just the other two just get left behind. So anyway, that's how I wanted to do it. So yeah, this may not be the greatest list ever. I'm not the greatest player, but you know, it's kind of a mix of how I feel and then just like watching tournament action and such. But anyway, thanks so much for watching and all that.